The Wolves gave it some backing, but in the end were sent packing. And the Blues are always worthy of the booze. And an end of match ruck. What the hell? And in FPL, there's some good news to tell. The good, the bad and the ugly at Liverpool FC for the EPL Gameweeks 24 and 25. Brought to you by the LFC File. Roll the intro, Curtis. Curtis. Welcome back one and all for the latest episode of the Good, the Bad and the Ugly at LFC podcast for Game Weeks 24 and 25 for the EPL, brought to you by the LFC File and myself, Ben Green. I've got my old school set up today because I can't find my earphones actually, the mic thing, I don't know where it is. Anyway, never mind. Onwards we go. As always, thanks for stopping by. The support is much appreciated and welcome on board for the to the new subscribers. Remember to like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell so you know when the next episode is going to be available. And of course, feel free to leave your comments and give me a bit of stick if you want. My shoulders are broad enough. Or of course, you can give me a good old pat on the back and tell me how good the content is, which is also more than welcome. So let's get into it with the good. And the good this week is going to be, of course, the 2-1 win, which was very well earned, I have to say, over Wolves at Anfield yesterday. Yes, it was a bit of a tricky fixture, but in the end, Luis Diaz's kind of strange finish and Mo Salah's penalty on 37 minutes was enough to send us into the break 2-0 ahead and give us the spoils as well, despite Matheus Cunha, who has been linked with Liverpool and pretty much every other club under the sun, to be honest. I even heard the dog and duck were in for him as well, so there you go. That he scored on 67 minutes. Very good effort, have to say. One of these classic, curling in from the edge of the box efforts. Left Alisson stranded, as he would have left most keepers stranded, to be honest. But yes, that signalled squeaky bum time because we know that Liverpool have not been at their best for the last few weeks, actually, I would say. Coming into this year, there's been a few good performances. The FA Cup against Tottenham was a good one, and I've got the Independent here with Richard Jolly's headline: Liverpool versus Wolves live. Result as Premier League leaders survive shaky second half to open gap. He goes on to say Liverpool 2, Wolves 1, goals from Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz put the Reds in charge, but Matheus Cunha gave the visitors hope, and give them hope they did, because in the second half, especially this last sort of 20-minute period, Liverpool kind of hung on, to be honest. And I wouldn't say we were fortunate to get the win, but I think they really had to dig in. And if they want to be champions, these are the kind of performances that they're going to have to pull out the bag from time to time. And really dig in, especially against these teams that are fighting for survival this time of the season as we approach the business end, so to speak. So overall, good result. Standout performers, well, Mo Salah as usual. Diaz played well. Gakpo was injured, so I'm very happy that Diaz scored because he's in my fantasy footy team as well. So that's nice to see. Gravenberch didn't have a good game, but I think sometimes you have to give the opposition credit, and you can see they made sure that Gravenberch didn't really get too much of the ball, so he was a little bit thwarted. Let's put it that way. And yeah, Trent didn't have a great game, but overall I think Wataru Endo had a good game. Cancer played well as well when he came on. Yeah, can't really complain too much. I think it was, as I say, it's a good performance. They dug in, they showed what they were made of. And in the end, we got the result. And that result leaves Liverpool on top, I believe, 7 points clear. Let's see, on 60 points. Arsenal second on 53. I believe they won at the weekend. Forest, I think they got done, didn't they? 2-1. So they're still in third. City are up to fourth after shafting Newcastle, to put it slightly in let's say, industrial language. So yes, all is good in the hood, and it brings us nicely onto the bad. And the bad this week is going to be the result at Everton in the last Merseyside derby, which will take place at Goodison Park. I mean, fair result at the end. I made a review of that after the game on Thursday morning. The review was out. Yeah, it was a tricky one. It was one of these where, I mean, Everton under David Moyes are always a very tricky preposition, to be perfectly honest. And we saw that in the result, actually. Of course, we know about the melee that happened at the end, and I'll come on to that a little bit later. But Liverpool done well to keep their heads. Beto put Everton in the lead before McAllister equalised on 16 minutes with a good headed effort, actually. I have to say, it's not bad. With the old head, actually, is McAllister, so that was a good one. And then Salah gave Liverpool the lead on 73 minutes, and one would have thought we would have wrapped this up. But as I say, Liverpool are not quite themselves so far the last few games, and James Tarkowski was able to equalise in the 98th minute, somewhat controversially, of course, which is what you expect in a game like this. Not the best of results. I've got the Mail Online Sport here with Oliver Holt. Everton 2, Liverpool 2. James Tarkowski scores stoppage time equaliser in dramatic ending to final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, and it was a very dramatic ending as well. I think Liverpool were their own worst enemies on the night, to be fair. I think this, the left side of the defence is a bit weak. And when you look at the goal that we conceded against Tottenham in the first leg of the FA Cup semi-final, it wasn't a similar-ish kind of goal. Someone making a run from deep late on, not really getting picked up until it was too late. And then, the rest is history, as they say. So not the best of results. I'm happy that we didn't lose anyway, but I don't think Liverpool really looked like losing. To be fair, 2-2 is a fair result. I think had Liverpool nicked it, then they would have been slightly fortunate, we could argue, but a win's a win, or would have been. So yes, that's as much as we can say there. And let's move swiftly on to the ugly. And ugly this week is going to be, as you probably guessed, the antics of Curtis Jones after the Everton game. I mean, in some respects, I think it's nice that there's a bit of blood and guts and passion and fire in this fixture, because this is the way it's been in the past, and it's been a bit lame, let's be honest, the last sort of few years. Mainly because Everton are crap, but also because they've not really given us that much of a sort of fight. I remember the one where Divock Origi headed in the winner. That was a good one, but I think they've been reasonably uneventful, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good one, and I've got the Express here. The police intervene in Everton versus Liverpool brawl as 4 men sent off after full time, reports Tom Parsons. He goes on to say Liverpool were stunned by Everton in the Merseyside derby as the Toffees clinched a point. Yes, clinched a point they did, and I suppose they deserved it. They played a very good home game. Let's put it that way. and they did, set out to attack Liverpool, make it difficult for Liverpool, stop Liverpool playing their game. All three things they succeeded in doing, and in that respect, I suppose they deserve a draw, I grudgingly admit. And that said, Liverpool, as I say, didn't really help themselves. Let's look at it. Let's be honest. So that's that. We move on. I mean, it's not to be condoned, this kind of behaviour, but it was sort of a bit funny actually. Curtis Jones running over and then remonstrating with what's his name, Adebayo Decore, or Abdoulaye Decore, but I mean, it was just mayhem. And the thing is, Curtis Jones, he had this kind of look about him, the look of a madman, who couldn't quite help himself, and you look at what he was trying. It looked as if he probably wasn't even making any sense. And he's getting pulled back, and I thought to myself, what is going on here? It's quite funny. And of course everybody comes piling in, don't they, to put their two penneth in and maybe have a dig. Núñez of course was in there, as is customary for him. But it was just it was a little more than handbags. I suppose handbags would sum it up, but I just think, Curtis Jones, man, what's the matter with you? But on the other hand, good lad, get stuck in there. I didn't like the way that who is it? I think it was the Liverpool fans anyway, weren't they? But someone threw a bottle, I think it was, or a flare. I think I've read in one report. Someone threw a flare onto I can't remember who it was that got hit. If it was the referee. I mean, he could have had a better game, to be honest. Michael Oliver, what a shambles, what an absolute shambles. For both sides, actually, to be honest. There were one or two decisions you kind of like, what? Just simple stuff, and some free kicks, and it's just rubbish, complete crap. I've often said I welcome the day when these guys are going to be mic'd up and they can actually give a proper account of themselves and why it is them, just some insight into what goes on with these people, how they come to the decisions they do. It's in cricket, it's in rugby, it's in many other sports, and I think it's about time. It's been in tennis for donkey's years, isn't it? And I think it's about time that the football moved into the modern game. Forget VAR. I think the biggest enemy is actually on the pitch. I mean, VAR does its thing, but I think the refereeing leaves a lot to be desired, and I think accountability is severely lacking, and I think this is something that needs to be addressed. Arne Slot got a red card. Curtis Jones got a red card. I think, what's his name? Sipler, the Liverpool coach, I can't remember his name, but he got a red card, and also Decore as well, and even the red card for Arne Slot. It's like complete tosh. And then there's been these stories about this lip reader saying explaining what he said and whatnot, but it's just ridiculous. So we move on from that. We move on because it's just I'm just going to say something wrong in a minute. So anyway, that was that, and it brings us swiftly on to the part of the show which I wouldn't say we've all been waiting for. I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't describe it quite as boldly as that, but the weekly review for the world-renowned FC Akia Salfish for the Fantasy Premier League game week number 26. And as you can see from the scores on the doors, I've got 78 points, and as I mentioned last week, I have played the triple captain chip because I missed on that last week, and I need to start playing my chips actually before the time runs out. But you see Salah's on 24 there. Good return from him. I've plumped for Watkins and Rodgers, as Villa have a double game week as well. They will be Liverpool's next opponents, as we know. Luis Diaz got 13. Very happy with that. A bit disappointed with my goalkeeper choice, but Flecken, the sub, got 10, and Abizabella got 3 in the end. But yeah, not the worst of results. Gabriel got 6. Trent Alexander-Arnold 6 as well. So yes, decent scores, I would say. Decent scores. I've got 78, as I say. So yes, more than happy with that. On the Dusseldorf Super League, Mr. E, I'm not going to say his name, has moved up into second place. He's overtaken Merely Mortals, and as I've said before, I need to watch this fella, because he's usually winning this, actually, this guy. So yes, I got the top score so far this week, which I'm happy with, 1,675 points. And that gives me, what am I, 116 ahead of They Think It's All Over. And it's not all over by any stretch of the imagination. So I just need to continue doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I can bring home the bacon there. So that's Dusseldorf Super League, can't complain. And onto the League of Kings, you can see I retain my first place there as well, over land and sea. Haven't had the best of weeks. Mr. Gale there on 59 this week, and here we go, continuing their spectacular fall from grace there on they got 41 points. And will probably be overtaken by Hard Lane FC if they continue, but anyway, not my problem. And I am 102 ahead of Overland and Sea, so I'm pretty confident I can hang on to that lead. But let's see. Stranger things have happened at sea, and I just have to continue to do what I do. And hopefully all will turn out well at the proverbial end of the proverbial day. So let's see. And on that note, I will wrap it up there. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you're still here at this point, you're either a relative, a glutton for punishment, or someone with very discerning taste in podcasts. Either of those three, that's fine. As always, like, subscribe, press the notification bell, leave your comments below. Let me hear what you think of my views, and what yours are as well. Looking forward to that. If there are any, could do with some more comments on the content, would be nice. And yeah, thanks for stopping by again. As I've just said, look after yourselves. It's kin freezing here, -6 this morning, and I think it's going to stay quite cold for the next couple of days, but I think there might be a chance to get out on the old trusty Triumph later this week. Let's see how that pans out. So look after yourselves, look after one another, take care, enjoy yourselves. Look out for the FPL update on Friday with the final scores, and I will see you then. So peace, ULFC file.